Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your severe weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Good morning. It is August 3rd, 2011, my birthday, and we have an interesting area of low pressure that is moving over the eastern Great Lakes. Now, you might be wondering, why is it interesting? It's just producing a few showers. Well, this low pressure system is actually going to mark a significant change to our weather pattern. The very hot and humid weather conditions we've been experiencing for several weeks looks like it's going to be coming to an end. Well, not for the central and southern plains, unfortunately, but for the northern mid-Atlantic, the track of this low pressure system is a signal that our negative NAO pattern, which is that huge upper level low over the northwestern Atlantic, is having a stronger influence on our weather pattern. And it's happening a little bit faster than I originally thought it would, but I'll take it. I can use a couple of days out of the 90s. So, what can we expect for today? Well, for right now, that's about 10 a.m., these showers over parts of central Pennsylvania and western New York will continue to dive to the south and east. The majority of these showers will miss the northern mid-Atlantic. However, a few scattered showers will be possible, especially over the Philadelphia metropolitan area and somewhat over the New York City metropolitan area. I think Connecticut and a lot of Long Island is going to miss out on this rainfall for the most part. So why are we missing out on this rainfall? Well, I think the answer is in the water vapor satellite picture. This is the latest water vapor satellite picture, and I want to zoom in a little bit. Here we go. And we're going to out the upper level winds. And as you can see, with these upper level winds, notice they're coming from the northwest. And they're coming down pretty strong. Again, we'll just overlay this once again. Sorry about that. Again, we have our area low pressure, and we have strong northwesterly winds. We have our upper level low setting up around Maine and the Gulf of Maine over here. Now, what this produces is a convergent confluent flow. And basically what that means is that as these showers are diving south, they're weakening because air is sinking over the northern mid-Atlantic. That's why you have some of these black colors moving over New Jersey. It's mostly due to the fact, when we zoom in, we can see this, because of that convergent upper level pattern. And so we have sinking air, and so as these showers are diving south, they're weakening, and as a result, I really don't expect much in the way of rainfall for this afternoon and evening. Yes, there will be a few scattered showers, but we're not looking at a heavy rain event whatsoever. In fact, many locations this afternoon will experience variable to partly cloudy skies and dry conditions with temperatures in the lower 80s and relatively low humidity. So really it's going to be a rather pleasant day for many locations, especially as you head off towards Connecticut and eastern Long Island. So while this is setting up over the northern mid-Atlantic, what's happening in the tropics? Well, we have the latest data here on Tropical Storm Emily. And I'm going to stop this for just a moment because, as we can see here, this is the center of Emily. Notice all the thunderstorms are down here. Well, the reason why is that when we look at the upper level winds, there is some shear, very weak shear, but it's still present from the northwest and from the southwest. And as a result, this shear is basically keeping the thunderstorms on the western side of this circulation. I'm sorry, the eastern side of this circulation. As a result, as Emily continues to move towards Hispaniola, it's not able to really intensify, and as a result, I really don't think it's going to be able to reach hurricane strength before hitting the Dominican Republic and moving through Haiti. Once Emily exits out into the southern portions of the Bahamas, then we'll get a real idea of just what potential Emily will have as it's moving towards the East Coast. And when I say that, the reason why is a lot of this terrain here is very mountainous. And when a tropical low pressure system moves over this part of Hispaniola, unfortunately or fortunately, it produces a lot of rainfall, and it also tears up the low level circulation. So a tremendous rainfall event is going to be setting up in this part of Hispaniola, exactly where they don't need it in Haiti. And unfortunately, it could produce quite a bit of mudslides and flash flooding. But also, on the positive side, could completely disrupt the circulation of Emily. And instead of having a tropical storm out here, we just have a remnant low pressure system. So we're going to have to see exactly how Emily gets through this part of the island over the next 24 hours. So what can we expect for the forecast itself? Well, what we have here is the GFS model guidance. Let me zoom out here just for a moment. And as you can see, the GFS guidance for the next 384 hours, but we're only going to go out to 240 hours, clearly shows a trough remaining around the northwestern Atlantic and troughs moving into the east coast for at least the next 240 hours or the next 7 to 10 days. Now, the reason why this pattern is starting to change is that we're starting to see changes in the Pacific with a little bit stronger negative EPO pattern. Punches up a ridge around the west coast, and this ridge allows for more waves to move further south into North America, and as a result, we're starting to see more intrusions of these cold fronts. Now, this is about 15 to 20 days faster than I thought it was going to be, but you know what? I'll take it. As far as Emily, here we are by Sunday night. You can see it's sitting up around just to the north of the Bahamas, and this trough is going to be key in picking up and kicking out Emily. Now, I want to warn people that if you live anywhere from North Carolina down to Florida, do not let your guard down with this storm. And the reason why is because the model guidance has been a little bit off in the timing of these troughs, and if this trough is delayed by, let's say 12, 24 hours, well then Emily, instead of curving out into the Atlantic, like what we have here, could instead reach the East Coast, especially around North Carolina and South Carolina, before curving out into the Atlantic once again. For those of us in the northern Mid-Atlantic, especially around New Jersey, quite frankly, the potential for this storm as far as impacts is going to be limited because of this trough. But one thing we're going to have to watch for is subsidence to the north of Emily, which basically means sinking air, which creates not only clear skies, but also enhancement of high temperatures. Instead of the mid to upper 80s, you end up in the lower to mid 90s because of sinking air. So that's something we're going to have to watch out for on Monday and Tuesday. But for the most part, I think that Emily is going to remain out in the Atlantic for the northern Mid-Atlantic, but parts of the southeast coast, I would not let your guard down. As far as the pattern going on beyond 10 days, as you can see, our trough is pretty much set up in the east and moving way out in the forecast. And this part of the forecast I never really trust or put a lot of weight on. You could see that we continue on with a rather active polar jet stream, but it still remains to the north, which means much of these cold fronts, although slightly stronger, will be limited in impact, and there is a potential for another Bermuda hive developing once again. So I wouldn't give up totally on the idea of a hot and humid weather pattern returning for the northern Mid-Atlantic after this brief cool stretch. But I think that the very hot temperatures of, temperatures around 100 degrees, I think we're past that point. I think from here on out we go down in temperature trends and we head towards a much cooler fall pattern by the time we head into September. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your severe weather source for the northern Mid-Atlantic. To find the latest weather information and severe weather coverage, always trust in nyNJPAweather.com or find NYNJPA Weather on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.